Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Nvidia stock, Nvidia Jensen Huang here. We're going to talk about Nvidia because Nvidia, can you guess what I'm doing? That is right, I am buying dips. This stock hit a high of 152.89. Had incredible earnings, and yet the stock is coming on down. Make that make sense? And this isn't the first time this has happened. This has happened before. If you guys recall, there was another stock, did great on earnings, and ultimately came down. Lower. And it was nothing more than an opportunity to buy a good company at cheap prices. So here's what I'm looking out for Nvidia. I did buy some. I bought the dip at around 145-ish, 146-ish. And I will be looking to add just a small, like 10 shares, nothing crazy. I am looking to see if buyers step in at 139. And if that doesn't hold, then I'm looking at 130 next. And I'll just continue to accumulate it. The cheapest this has come down to is around 100. I would be surprised if we came down that cheap, but I would not complain one bit. I would love it if it gave me a nice big dip back to 100. I'm sure there are many people who would agree, hey, $100, I would not mind it. Now, if we look at the weekly chart, you'll notice, this is what you'll notice, this breakdown. So, the question here is, are buyers going to step in at 133? We have weekly support here at 133-ish. 130 to 133 is going to be our big level. Now, I had to switch over to the weekly chart to really give you that. There you go. There's your support. So that's what I'm watching for going into. We're probably going to have low volume as well now that I think about it, because next week is Thanksgiving. So probably going to be a low volume week. And I imagine if there is an opportunity to buy cheap, it'll come down to 130-ish. And I'll look to add probably 20, 30 shares around there. Maybe even 40. We'll see. Because I only added like 10 shares. I wasn't going to add. You guys know me. I'm not going to add a lump sum a ton. I used to do that when I was more amateur, but now it's like, okay, I'll add a little bit of a good company, but then I'll add a lot of it if it comes down even cheaper. So that's the game plan. Added 10, gonna add 40 here if it comes down, and then we'll see what happens. After that, I'm just gonna not add. I'll wait to see if it comes down to anywhere near 100. So I would be surprised if we come down that low. Now, if we look at the most recent announcements here, we have price target raises up to 185, 165, 200. Like this guy raised to 135, which is pretty much on the low end in my opinion. I don't see why it's that low, especially given the fact that the company continues to perform quarter to quarter, year over year. For those of you who bought the stock back when it was at like 400. Because it was at 400, I remember telling people, hey, buy here at 400. I know it's a lot, but this is the future. AI is the future. Powered by Nvidia. All those Tesla robots. It's powered by Nvidia. Like, everyone's buying from Nvidia. If you think Tesla's going to perform, if you think AI stocks right now, if you look at my watch list on the left-hand side, Big Bear AI, 11%. SoundHound AI, 18%. Palantir, 4.8. That's like all these stocks right here. Anything related to AI is just moving. Even quantum computing here, it's not even. I heard that's not even a real quantum computing stock. Quantum computing isn't even a real thing yet. It's not ubiquitous. AI is barely ubiquitous. There's no robot next to me. So what I'm showing you here is, if these companies are benefiting, what do you think is going to happen when everyone has to buy from Nvidia? Oh wait, they're already buying from Nvidia. They're going to have to buy even more from Nvidia, because Nvidia comes out with more powerful chips all the time. They just hand over fist money. And if you want to make hand over fist money, what do you think we're going to do? Let's switch to the. Okay, before I switch over to the monthly, I just want you to take note of the fact that if you look at the weekly MACD, you'll notice that the last time the stock crossed under was back here, and we dropped from a high of 136 to a low of 91. The last time we got a cross under on the MACD. Leads to a pretty significant drop. Here we dropped from 88 to 75, but I don't think you want to count that because I think that's price action before we did the forward stock split, I believe. Because we never came down that low anyway. So yeah, that was before the stock split. Forward stock split, just to be clear. We really had to break out of this level to go to 150. So I think buyers are going to step in at 130-ish. It'll probably dip below 130-ish, and then buyers are going to step in. And if that happens, then this gets negated. What do I mean by negated? Okay, so the crossover sometimes, the cross under, sometimes it happens and it's a fake out. Or look at this. Look right here. This could have almost crossed over, right? If you zoom in, it almost crossed over. If we had had a green candle here instead of a red one, we would have had a successful crossover and we would have pumped here. Instead, it was a fake out and we pulled back. Then we finally got the crossover on this candle and we pumped from a low of 124 to 152. So that's what I mean by fake out. If maybe this is going to be a fake out. We don't know yet. But if this ends up being a fake out, that would mean the share price came down low, down to 130s, and then pumped. And thus denying, negating this cross under. If anything, it might cross under briefly and then come back up. Kind of like a tease. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, you probably know exactly what I'm saying right now. For those of you who are like, huh, I've never heard of this. These crossovers and cross unders can be money, but sometimes they fake you out. It's a bull run right now. You can see like clearly we just been skyrocketing. In a bull run, you're going to get more reliable signals to the crossover side, and at the same time, the bearish side, you're not going to get very reliable signals to the bearish side because it's a bull run, not a bear market. So that's why I'm saying, like, I think 130-ish looking like a buy just based off of everything that I'm seeing here. And just to show you an example, AITX stock, this recently crossed over in the MACD down here and it pumped. I made a nice 2.3K on a flip here on this penny stock. Garbage penny stock. But hey, I was looking at that crossover and I'm like, man, if this crosses over in the weekly, we're going to get a pump like last time, and we did. So I bagged me some longs and made myself some money. That's why I'm saying, like, it's a very important. If it works with penny stocks, believe me, it's much more reliable with Nvda. Let's see, the monthly is what I wanted to show you guys. You look at the monthly as well. We had to consolidate here for 4 months before we finally broke out. I would be shocked if we dropped all this consolidation just to drop back to like 100. That would be shocking. You look at the quarterly. I mean, it just keeps going up over the long term with the occasional dip. Those dips have always been money, always been opportunity. Buying leaps on this, by the way, if you don't know what leaps are, essentially it's a way to make a lot of money controlling a ton of shares without having to actually pay, for the shares. Actually had to pay the value of each individual share. But you have to buy them with time. They're called leaps because they're like 2-3 years out. And if the stock, as long as the stock continues to perform, you're just gonna make hand over fist money. So leaps, I think leaps would be great as well. I don't see technology stopping. It hasn't stopped since it started. It only continues to get better, and now machines are gonna take over. Maybe not anytime soon, maybe not in our lifetime, but they will. That is the future, and that is it for the video. Hopefully you guys are convinced that, hey, this guy's making a good case for a buy long term. It's also good for a swing trade. You can swing trade it if you want. Absolutely. I swing trade it as well. It's an overall good company. You want to buy it at cheap prices. I think this is going to 1,000 again. It's going to take time, but it'll get there. That's it for the video. I will see you in the next one.